Fit 10 Nation, it is day 65 of the Fit 10 Challenge, and I just sent you guys your numbers. So yeah, your carbs are a little bit lower, so just be on the lookout for that. Your fat for most of you is a little bit up. You guys will see. So take a look at your numbers, and that's what you got for the next, well, until you run the scan, and then we'll talk about what to do after that. And actually, I'll talk about it in some of the videos in the upcoming videos, okay? Let's get into some questions here. This person says, over the course of the program, I've learned that technique is more important than how much you can lift. Yeah, I mean, your muscle doesn't know the weight that's on the bar. Okay, so let's think about an extreme example. Let's say you're doing a squat. Okay, how much does your muscle know if you don't even touch the bar? It doesn't know anything, right? How much does your muscle know if you pick it up, don't bend at all, just put on your shoulders, walk out, walk back in, right? How much does the muscle know? It only knows a certain amount of tensile force through a range, right? And that's really what it knows. So, if you're not exposing the muscle, especially through full range, with that actual tension, forget about the weight, the tension, then it's irrelevant what the weight is on the bar. Okay? So, this is why I always say get the most out of the least, okay? Within reason, obviously, okay? So slow on your eccentrics, really thinking about all the parameters of the movement when you're doing it. So like all the little, tips and like mechanical tips I'm talking about during the movement. And always thinking about what muscles are we targeting, and really trying to hone in on making those muscles work. So really trying to engage those muscles. Okay, so as an example, when I squat, I'll lower the bar. Typically, my knees are not so good, my hips not so good either. It's just my hips actually just soft tissue. It's nothing serious. My knee is the serious one. But I will lower the bar. Sometimes up to 8 seconds on the way down, and it's just like this very even, continual, and so I'm really feeling that weight. Okay, now that's a bit of an extreme example. So what's more realistic for you? Like a 3-second eccentric, okay, and an explosion up, and then just really thinking about hitting the movement, okay? And then with all of that, you use as much weight as you can, okay, which will be significant. Well, I shouldn't say significant, but which will be less weight than you could do if you were a little bit careless, right? Which we don't want to be, okay? Weight training is the safest form of exercise you can do. You are in full control if you take advantage of it, okay? You can make it as dangerous or as safe as you want it to be. Okay, unlike other sports. Okay, or many other sports, most other sports. Name your top 10 nutritionally dense foods. In no order, I would say eggs, avocado, salmon, kale. Yeah, these are all great. In fact, I would put these in my top 10 as well. Top 10 is very hard. There's a lot of great foods out there. Certainly I'm sure other people could make suggestions, and we could, take some of them out of my top 10 here and put them in. But I'll give you my top 10. My top 10 would be, and I don't eat all of these, by the way, okay? I'm just not a big fan of kale. But kale, broccoli, avocado, wild salmon, free-run eggs, wild red meat, berries. In general, I have mixed berries, walnuts, coconut oil, and kiwis. And kiwis I haven't talked about, so maybe kiwis is something I should talk about, and then I'll do that in the next few days. All right, so those are my top 10 nutritionally dense foods, okay? Thirdly, my wife says I need to go buy new clothes because nothing fits properly now. Good thing, I guess. Sure, why not? I can definitely see it on this person. Fourth, I love the way I feel. Most important thing. The most important thing, loving the way you feel. Forget about the way you look. I mean, obviously we care about that, right? But, ultimately the way that you feel, okay? So let's talk about message of the day. Message of the day is habits bring consistency, planning brings persistency, right? Habits bring consistency, planning brings persistency. We have to create those habits, and we need to put them in some sort of scheduling system, right? So, and ultimately they will become, just habits that you don't even have to really think about. But of course, if you're continuing to improve, then, ultimately you're going to have to schedule new things, right? Or at least new ideas, or basically always keeping track of things. So, I'm going to say it again, habits will bring consistency, and that's, as you guys know, so important for progress and maintaining the gains or losses, depending how you want to look at them. And then planning will bring that persistency, right? Planning is obviously looking towards the future and persisting ahead. All right, so think about that, you guys. Anything else I wanted to say here? No, I'm gonna keep this video very, very short. Okay. Oh yeah, I did want to say this one thing. Okay, listen. Okay, a bit of a rant here. Maybe kind of fast on this one. I looked at that news story from CNN about the eggs, and it really drives me nuts. And it's not because I love eggs. At least, not. I love eggs, so maybe there is some, bias on my end. But I can tell you with certainty there is no evidence for this, and the evidence that they have is like it drives me nuts, because it literally is like questionnaires of what people have eaten over the last 20 years. Okay, and then other lifestyle parameters. So you're going by memory, and some of these, by the way, some of these questionnaires aren't even done by the person. They're done by family members. So how did your uncle eat? Oh, I think he ate like this. Why not look at stress, medications you're taking, other things you ate perhaps, your overall lifestyle, the amount of sleep you got. All these factors, I don't understand why. It's almost like they really just want to single out eggs. And you have to remember, really all this came from Ansel Keys back in the 50s, where he put out this correlative data, which he didn't even include all the countries, by the way. He took out the countries that didn't make his data fit. Okay, so he could put out the notion of that cholesterol and saturated fat are basically the culprits for they're basically the evil in your diet, which they're not. And in fact cholesterol is essential in your diet. So anyways, I cannot possibly believe how there are scientists that accept the way they gather the data, and then the fact that this is even reliable data. And then if you look at the relative risk when you do all the statistical analysis, it's so small even after all of that. And the data, in my opinion, is just complete bogus. It's not even real data. You tell me what you've eaten for the last 20 years. Do you know? I guarantee you don't have a very good idea. Okay, most people cannot tell you. You guys would have a better idea because you're doing this program. But prior to this program, you probably can't even tell me what you ate a few months ago on a regular basis. And I know this for a fact because people come in and they start they diarize their. I have clients, they diarize their eating for me, and they go, "Oh my God, I didn't realize I ate this way." It's anyways. So and I'll come back to this always. All right, correlation does not equal causation. Okay. You have all these variables, okay? And then you choose to pick this one, that has a very, very small marginal statistical surplus in terms of how much more, eggs are affecting people. It's nonsense. Anyways, in my opinion, that I think it's hogwash. I think it's nonsense. Until you can show me actual data that's reliable, it's like a witch hunt against eggs. Eggs are really, really healthy for you. They are so nutrient dense, and I think it's like a travesty. Unless you're vegan or something, you don't eat them for moral reasons or whatnot. That's fine. Anyways, you can already tell I'm on a tangent here. So, guys, submit, commit. Habits bring consistency, right? Planning brings persistency. So keep that in your mind. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Think about the power foods. Incorporate more and more power foods into your meals. And if you have any suggestions on what you think might be power food, let me know and tell me why. Okay? 4 weight training workouts this week, you guys. This is the last week. We got to go hard, 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 hard. All right, we'll talk to y'all soon. Have a wonderful day. It's beautiful outside, by the way, in case you haven't already noticed.